of UI work that can be done, period. And a lot of additional customization options and a lot of, stuff for you to be able to modify your experience to be more to your liking, but maybe it won't be default. Yeah. So Brimcon said there are a few things with the UI that I struggle with, particularly with chat and following with combat. Yeah, and so that's stuff that we'll be looking at for sure. Umpex said, thanks for responding to my question about trade skills and character creation. Did I? In Discord. Okay, cool. Did I? It's a blur. Sleep streaming, like, I don't know. I felt bad because I haven't been in Discord a lot in the last few weeks. I popped in while I was doing this because essentially while I'm just in here working on housing, which you guys have seen the process before, it's a lot of just kind of like adding volumes and making sure all this data is linked up that you can't see here, right? Like blah blah blah, making sure the data is right. Cool. That made it easy to pop in and just kind of like look at stuff in Discord and chat with you guys a little bit. Yeah, so we talked about things like, so there are a number of things that we've discussed over the years where it's whether it has been chat bubbles. We've already covered maps, I think, enough for this stream, but whether it be chat bubbles or floating combat text or better targeting indicators or any of that stuff, the main thing that has been the pushback in the past with stuff like I would say chat bubbles and floating combat text, a lot of times if I'm on here, I will just I'll say shit to get a rise out of you. And so I'll be like, no, like, it's horrible, it looks like shit. And then people get so butthurt sometimes on the internet, and they're like, and just like, he said what? Oh my lord. Oh my lord. He is the worst. But really the conversation, and I think we've had it here and we've definitely had it on a team, is like, hey, can we not just default to, on some of this stuff, is there a better way to tackle some of these problems? And have it, have it meet the need, have it address the core problem, but not have it just be janky or generic or whatever. So, and that's kind of what we've talked about with, on the team in the past is, hey, is there a more subtle way to do this? Anyway, over time, as we're getting closer and closer to EA and like some of the stuff is either not come together or we still don't have an answer, then we bring it up again and go, all right, so is it that big a deal to do it in this manner? What about that? Is it a default? If it's not a default, do we care if everybody's got all the non-defaults on and their experience is thus? So, yeah. There's no telling what you'll see. Hey, Penny. Penny said, are we still on track for Deep Gnomes, Deep Elves to be available at early access? And if so, will closed beta testers get a chance to test them before October 1st? Yes and yes. I'm not comfortable committing to them being available this coming patch. But who knows? Just mainly, like I was saying earlier, is we'd have to put a pretty big disclaimer on them saying, hey, you can play the character, but there's stuff. This is not the experience you're going to have during early access, but we may do that anyway, just because, I mean, we do stuff like this all the time where we put something in and it's not ready for prime time, but we still get plenty of good bugs out of it and information, and everybody kind of like freaks out a little bit, but then, yeah. Had to step away for an hour. Did Sean spill the beans on the next deep dives while I was gone? Mimi said yes and swore to secrecy. Well, I asked the person working on a couple of the deep dives whether or not I could share, and I haven't heard back yet. If they respond before the end of this stream, then I will let you know which ones they are. Hey, Faith Fellowship Fun. Said, I think you can do FCT from player to target name, player to target frame, instead of in open world to improve combat readability without overly spamming in the space. There's a lot that I think we can do still in the actual like combat window that we're not doing yet that may help cover those needs. Penny, there was I gotta talk to you about clickbait. I haven't watched the full video, but the team has discussed it. They killed Penny's bear. It's true. I will finish the video this weekend because the team is not only watched it, but the people that are the people that are going to be doing the work on the class are discussing it. Yeah. Penny said, I know that thumbnail was super clickbaity. That one was definitely. I quit. If you want to share the link to the video in here, please do, so people will see it. I quit was the thumbnail. Naza Barbara said, can you fix rogue stealth and how it's impossible to see or get them out of stealth right now in PvP server? You can be higher level than the rogue and they stealth on top of you and there's no way to see them. It's not fun when one rogue can grief a full group because there's no way to see them. So yeah, that's been discussed as well, and I do believe that there's been some discussion, I guess, on the distance and how it renders. I don't want to misspeak on this, but there's also... I could have sworn there was at least one bug that we are looking at in relation to that, but then there's also, I think, some abilities that people aren't using that can be used to reveal them. What I'll say is, thank you for the question. I know for a fact that one has been / is being discussed. And there is the link to Penny's video in chat. I think I haven't, like I said, I have not been super engaged in Discord lately, so I don't want to misspeak. But I assume Cross is still being pretty active in the PvP channel. Is Cross still working on PvP balance? Haven't seen any PvP specific elements in patches 2601 or 2602. They may just be waiting for the upcoming, should be 27, right? And Derelict just reminded me that Cross just got back from vacation. That's the other thing that's been going on. We've had a number of people on vacation prior to recently who are now rolling back in and ramping up, especially on the content side. And then we've got a couple of people who are rolling out to vacation and some other big life events going on and stuff like that. So some weddings and things. So it's, yeah, there's a lot. Summer is definitely busy. Lizzie Luck said, I've been taking a little break from the closed beta, but just wanted to pop in and say how much I appreciate all the work y'all have been putting in, and I'm really looking forward to the Deep and EA launch. Thank you very much. It's nice when folks pop in, and I'm very curious to see what happens like October, November, because it could be pretty quiet. It could be, I mean, we've had a lot of people come through beta, so I'm curious how many folks are kind of in Lizzie's mode and will reappear and we're like, oh goodness. So when people do pop back and say hi, it's kind of like, there's another one. It will be 101 people. What? Penny said. All right, so that's in response to what's going on here. And sorry, Brimcon, I missed your further comment about rogues. Brimcon said, one thing I've noticed about rogue stealth, it doesn't update position of party rogues when they stealth until they leave stealth. Guys, there's going to be a lot of stuff, especially as we're just trying to get things in for EA. There's going to be a lot of we're going to roll into early access / premature release, and we're going to be fixing a lot of stuff. There's going to be a lot of bug fixing going on. It's going to be interesting times. Apostate. So Apostate asks, serious question, Penny, is your voice AI generated? When I first watched the first video, I was like, I think this might be AI. And then as I watch more videos, I'm like, nope, can't be. Can't be. But Penny responded and said, tomorrow I braved up and got on camera. You'll get to see that voice come out of this mouth. Man, Penny, if I had your voice, I would absolutely be doing what you're doing. You've got a very fun voice. Do you like do you use that voice professionally? The question made total sense in my brain because I'm used to, I mean, in this industry there's a lot of voice actors and stuff like that. So I was like, wait, do you? And I just kind of, I was like, oops, that might be a weird question. I do not. I get a lot of comments that I'm annoying. They are jelly. Yeah. Hopefully they're playful comments, because otherwise that'd be mean. We don't need mean people. I've grouped with her. It is not a... Oh, was that... Maybe that's what really proved it. Was there a video that... Was there a video of, like, group play or something, maybe? So, yeah, those of you that have never seen this before or whatever, I will admit there are some other things I could have been doing early this morning that didn't involve implementing housing volumes and setting up the housing system, but it's such a weird guilty pleasure of mine. And it's good for like lateral thinking, and it's good for thinking about other systems and things, because it's just like, it's funny, I pinged Ollie, and I was mentioning, and I think we've discussed this here before, so I was like, Ollie, you know, I'm really worried that not enough people are going to use the housing in the shops and the market stalls and all of that stuff if we don't allow them to hire NPCs at, like, you know, it'll be a higher level thing in terms of, you know, higher level commerce skill. It's costly, you know, it's not just a payment that you gotta pay them each week and all that stuff, but also they like take a percentage of the cut, blah blah blah. And like, it'd be cool to really create a system that's you know, kind of makes it so that we're not negating the incentive for players to interact and auction and be active and all that stuff, but also makes it so that there's always something going on with them. And, you know, anyway, he was like, his response was like, yeah, I've always wanted to do that kind of thing. But somebody kept arguing against it. I'm like, oh shit, was that me? It's like, yes. I'm like, well, just tell me to shut up. So, you said I want to at the very least, want to make a one-stop maker shop with all the trade skill stations. I'm curious. I'm curious how to... Because in the perfect world where we, you know, I think we'll see this stuff come online over time as we go back and kind of refactor some things with like trade skill progression and commerce and some of these other skills. Something like that would be cool to allow for somebody that's really invested in making it happen, right? Because the goal isn't just to make everything tedious as shit. The goal is to make it so that the people that are really invested in developing these aspects of their character don't feel like everybody else can just do it instantly, so what's the point? Yeah, a Crafters Guild, the modern equivalent of Builder Space. Yeah, and it's like being able to work up to have all of those. Work up to be able to have all of that in like one place. So the hope is, you know, the hope is it's kind of like the dream of starting out with, you know, starting out with your humble, you're just kind of like trading and you're doing, maybe you're doing the shifty arbitrage game, and then all of a sudden you build up some cash, and then you've got a stall, and then you're still doing the arbitrage game, but you're also trading via your stall. And then over time, you've got enough cash to either hire someone to be present for you at the stall as you're doing other stuff as well, but then also, you know, you could do that or invest in getting the shop running, and then again, employees, that kind of, right? So shifty coffee shop. Justin Beard, I will have you know, I was talking to my wife about this stuff over lunch. And we were talking about, I was like, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if they're, you know, it's incentivized properly so that they're different types of shops, right? And then they're different, we make it so that people really do have a reason to specialize and blah, blah, blah. And I tell you what, Justin Beard, my wife at lunch said, well, you gotta, because we were talking about different shop ideas. And my wife was like, well, there's gotta be a coffee shop. And I was like, yeah, that's right. And she's like, Justin Beard needs to have his coffee shop. She said at lunch, I'm not bullshitting you. 100% true story. Lunch today. Coffee and cigar shop, for real, man. That it's funny. Right after lunch, we went by the cigar shop, and my wife and I hung out there, listened to some dudes talk and stuff. I smoked a cigar. We had a coffee each, and that was kind of our little lunch day. It was like we went out to a little place to eat. I don't like to eat out much, to be honest with you. And but I was like, it'd be cool. We'll eat out, and then the treat for me will go by the cigar shop. Buddy, why are you crying? Even his wife is hitting him up with game player changes. No, she was just looking out for Justin Beard. Justin Beard's a fixture here in our household. Someone said, oh, there it is. Scoob said, I would love it if you could sublet stalls to your friends and allow them to pitch a vendor in your stall for a small percentage of the sales. Yeah, we've just got to watch when it comes to like subletting and stuff. We don't want to turn into like the Swedish housing market. And then all of a sudden everything's just kind of owned and everything is subletted. Slub Lords and Memories. Corinthians said, then you could have little cigar boxes for your house. Over time. I wish I had more time. I like that corner house. It'd be good for that. It has like 6 stalls. And it's honestly, it was set up that way for that reason. It was that idea of, because the thing is, as long as you've got permissions, and I believe like Ali has set it up where we're able to now put permissions on specific volumes. So the hope is to eventually, we'll see. It may have to do some more work to break them up more. But in theory, these are set up with specific, like, individual volumes. So so they could be subletted just kind of on your own. Why is that door missing? Also, the front door in that house is missing. When did that happen? Oh man, let's see if we can solve this mystery. Did I? Probably Elf stole the door. They'll steal it, I think. You blame Lich? I think that's fair. The housing patch stole your house and broke your stall. Door. Broke your door. Anyone want to buy a door? Oh man. The Hirsch said, my dad used to make lamps and other decorations out of cigar boxes, but unfortunately he lost everything in a big house fire last year. I'm sorry to hear that. He loved it though. Never smoked a cigar in his life, oddly enough. Just enjoyed the crafting. Honestly, the boxes and stuff are just, they're so pretty. I'm such a sucker for that type of stuff, right? Like, I think I've mentioned before, my desk is just, it's like my desk is just kind of comforting because it's just, I've got all these different nice glass jars with pipe tobacco and stuff in here, and it's nice to look at, and I love the tins that they come in. And it's the same thing now with cigars. It's just cool looking at like the boxes and the bands and all that stuff. I guess I'm getting old. I'm hopping into all the old hobbies. But let's solve the mystery of this missing door. Zoom out so we can click through these. That door is just gone, dude. Okay, so it would probably be... Let me check in the data. Doors, which house is this? This is house 86. So that's door 381. $382. Check. $395. Check. $396. $397. $398. $399. $400. All present and accounted for. Door 386 is in this group, but now it's associated with house 90. All right, so let's find, I think that's the culprit right there. So let's find 386. Well, first of all, he's backwards. I think these backwards doors have been causing some problems. So I might as well fix that while I'm in here. That one doesn't fit. But I think we're going to go through and update some of these door frames. Maybe carpentry needs to make doors. Make it a fixer-upper. Carpentry making doors that you can then customize your house with later is definitely something we'd like to do. So that's the kind of stuff like during EA, providing more and more of those types of options would be good. Got a lot of these on backwards. I think it was just like a stylistic thing, but we'll have to test and see if that's creating problems. Fail and draw housing is going to happen, yes. You know what I can do? Let me just duplicate the door. What's the idea of some of the Shallow Shoals houses? Fix them up, or are they permanently ruined? Maybe eventually allow for fixing up, but for now they're kind of like silly houses. Like I can picture you having like a silly ruined house, being a little goblin. All right, I tell you what, I will get to the bottom of that and figure out what's going on, but I think what I want to do is go through all of the doors that haven't been added yet to the system. Oh, I've been stealing some of these doors to make it easier to get in and mess with these goblins, so maybe I'll just steal one of the goblins' doors real quick and fix it. One second, runic totem. Yeah, don't worry, you can wash it off. I think there are some extra doors here. Yeah, let's take this one. Hey, it's door 420. Does that make it? No? Doesn't make it better? Alright. I tried, Mimi. Alright. I honestly don't know what happened to that door. The joys of game development. I would look under the world for a door. It's the kind of thing that gets Z-axis. Yeah, but the challenge is it's not in the list anymore. Right? Like if it's in the list and I'm just kind of like scrolling through, it would make sense, but it's just all of these doors are accounted for. And well, actually I did not go and I didn't verify. I said they're accounted for. There's a door there. That's the new one. The stalls have the doors. Upstairs has the door. It's just, it's not in the data. It's just gone. plane of doors. Speaking of Dorish hellscapes, no spoilers in case I do ever watch it, but have you guys watched Backrooms? I have a question about it. Your 42nd birthday was 4 days ago, so this works out perfect. A new door with your age. Nice. All right, so with Backrooms, I was planning on watching it. It is a Mimi birthday door. It is Kismet. It was meant to happen. So with Backrooms, I was planning on watching it, and then I accidentally on the internet saw 2 different images that kind of spoiled stuff for me. And I quickly looked away. But I'm kind of glad I did at this point, because now I'm thinking, had I not seen the spoilers and I watched the movie, and then I would is it super creepy? I've gotten away from watching shit. Runic, I meant to respond to you. I just started rambling. Hold on 1 second. Let me go back up. Before we continue on this, put a pin in that. Runic said, Sean suggested this on the community Discord as well. I think a slight bonus to hit point mana regen along these lines to prevent the necessity for long sit times is good enough change. It might be definitively better, would result in being able to get back in the action sooner, and would have the same ramifications of increased level gains due to faster recovery for combat as the XP bonus. Also, at max level, the campfire would still provide a benefit rather than no benefit. Thoughts? And then the follow-up was... just feel having simple regen bonus on the campfire is better than current XP bonus. So we've got some stuff going on with both class revamps and just discussions about campfires and stuff in general. Where we're going to be looking at campfires, right? Because we've still got Ranger to do, we've still got Shaman to do, we've got still got Bard to do. We've got some different classes that may have something maybe to do with campfires and around campfires, things like that. Those guys at a minimum, potentially. And so we're going to be looking at campfires, which then also impacts or can impact regen rates, different regen rates, and the XP bonuses and stuff like that. They're all kind of interconnected. So we're going to be looking at it, and then naturally it's a knob. So we'll always be looking at whether or not we're on point with regards to regen rates, relative to time to kill, relative to respawn rates, and all of that stuff. So that's my hand wavy reply. And I've got confirmation from Zilith and Jahar that I can mention the deep dives that are currently being worked on. You're welcome. So we've got, because Rogue was part of this next batch, right? So Rogue's out. You guys are aware of that. We've got that out. They've been doing some just base combat stuff. Like earlier Criddle mentioned like the strength bug that was discovered and some AC stuff and looking at different stats, agility, blah blah blah. The three other classes are cleric, fighter, monk. And they may not be they may not be in this coming patch. It may just be shortly after, whatever, but they're being worked on. And yeah. So for those of you that are saying like damn or oh no or whatever, trust me, we're gonna be continuing to get through them. So Glurk, thank you for the follow a little bit ago. So back to back rooms. It's creepy in an unsettling way, in my opinion. Is it gonna make it so that when I wake up to pee at like 3 in the morning, which I regularly do, is it gonna creep me out? I don't need that in my life. No, not like that. It's more psychological. But that seems psychological to me. That seems like a psychological problem. Is the timeline set internally for what is getting worked on when for the class updates, or is it addressed once one set is completed? We've been kind of like moving around, looking at how comfortable we are with certain changes, or what we think the level of complexity or the amount of change is. Sorry, I was just turning the music down a little bit. I didn't turn it off. I think it, yeah. So, oh, where was I? So, anyways, it hasn't been like lined up where it's like we're doing these in this order. It's been moving around a bit, but it would be nice to get that. I'm going to talk to the guys now that we've worked through it and are working through a number of them and see if we can kind of what their level of comfort is on firming up the kind of rollout plan. Yeah, that music is from Eminem. The whole soundtrack is from Eminem. I think this should be. Yeah, we have it all up on a playlist if you want to check it out. XE, yeah, we'll be looking at getting the deep dives up soon. Hey, Scheiden. Backrooms is more about being trapped in your own mind. Okay, that's not like demony and stuff, is it? So, stop drinking liquids around 5 p.m. and you won't need to pee in the middle of the night. It's 8:29 at night right now, and I am drinking coffee. An ETA for High Elves? None at this time. At Logic, Piquini, and Kellyanne's. Maybe I got in the ballpark on those. Thanks for the follows. Dr. Totenkopf said, haven't seen a movie, but the back rooms looks exactly like the kind of dreams I wake up from at 3 a.m., so I've already had enough already. Yeah. ETA for Deep Elves, though. Soon. Oh, man, and seeing the other player races in the Deep Elf armor, man, that was looking tight. That's going to be sought after. All right, so door 420 is now going to be associated with house 86, and I think we fixed it. We'll see. Probably didn't fix it, but any chance the merch store will sell old school CDs of the Eminem soundtrack? You can't pry CDs out of Gen X hands. We've talked about vinyl. So if we make enough money to be able to do silly things, stuff like that is definitely on our list.